Season 2 of Landman wrapped things up in a surprisingly calm and hopeful way, which honestly feels a little suspicious if you've spent any time watching shows created by Taylor Sheridan. That calm ending almost feels too perfect, like the quiet before something much bigger begins. We all know that things rarely stay stable for long in his stories, and when they do, it usually means the storm is just getting started, slowly building in the background where no one can see it coming. That's why, even though the finale gave some sense of closure, I don't think the characters are heading into an easy chapter. That peaceful moment feels temporary, like it could break at any time. Season 3 will likely test them in ways that undo that brief moment of peace, pushing them into situations they are not fully prepared for. One of the most important storylines going into the next season is the situation between Tommy and Cammy. Their conflict has been building for a while, slowly growing with every decision they made, and it's rooted in two completely different ways of looking at the same problem. After Nate revealed that MTEX was never meant to survive without Monty, I believe Cammy will start to understand that she has to let it go, even if that realization comes with pain. But Cammy, on the other hand, has been holding on, emotionally and mentally. She's lost Monty, and in many ways, the trust she once had in the people around her. That puts her in a very uncertain position heading into Season 3, where every choice could change her future. If she learns about Tommy's new company, which she almost certainly will, her reaction could go in multiple directions, and none of them will be simple. She might feel abandoned, or even betrayed, especially if she sees his move as him giving up on something she's still trying to save. What makes this more complicated is Cammy's emotional state. She's been through a lot, and grief can push people into decisions they wouldn't normally make, decisions that could create even more problems. There's a chance she could act impulsively, possibly trying to interfere with Tommy's new venture out of frustration or desperation. At the same time, there's also a more grounded possibility. She could turn to him for help, realizing she can't handle everything alone. Despite everything, Tommy has never been someone who refuses to step in when it really matters. If she reaches out, he might be the one person capable of helping her sell the MTEX in a way that doesn't completely destroy her. That brings up another question. If MTEX is sold or dissolved, what happens to Cammy? There's a real possibility that her role in the story could shrink or even disappear entirely, which would feel like a major shift. That would be a big loss because she brings a different kind of energy to the show, someone who operates in a space between emotional vulnerability and sharp business instincts. It would feel incomplete not to see how she rebuilds after everything she's lost and how she finds her strength again. Meanwhile, Tommy's path seems much clearer, at least on the surface. By the end of Season 2, he had already set his plan into motion. Starting a new company wasn't just a backup option. It was something he had been building toward for a while, carefully and quietly. His meeting with Galeno proved that he still knows exactly how to navigate these high-stakes deals. Even after being pushed out, he managed to secure significant funding, which says a lot about how much confidence others still have in him, and his abilities. His structure of this new company is also interesting. It's not just a solo move. It's a group effort built around people Tommy trusts deeply. Cooper stepping in as president is a bold choice, especially given everything he went, at least to some extent, which is not something we always see. Nate handling the financial side, Rebecca managing operations and legal matters, and the rest of the team taking on their respective roles creates what looks like a very solid foundation, almost too stable to last. But that's exactly why it feels a bit too perfect. When everything lines up that neatly, it usually doesn't stay that way for long. Starting fresh sounds ideal, but it also means they're more exposed. They don't have the same level of protection or influence that a larger company like MTEX once provided. That leaves room for external pressure, competition, and possibly even internal conflict as everyone adjusts to their new roles and responsibilities, which could lead to unexpected tensions. Beyond the business side, the personal relationships in the show are heading into new territory as well. Tommy and Angela deciding to get married again adds a layer of unpredictability. Their relationship has never been stable in a traditional sense, but that's part of what makes it work in such an unusual way. Bringing them back together suggests we'll see more of that chaotic dynamic, which tends to create both tension and unexpected moments of honesty that feel real and raw. At the same time, Cooper and Ariana's relationship is moving toward a very different kind of milestone. After everything they endured in Season 2, it makes sense that they would want something solid to hold on to, something that feels safe. But their situation is far from simple. The incident involving Ariana's attacker hasn't fully settled, and even though it was resolved in a way that kept Cooper out of prison, it doesn't mean the consequences are gone or forgotten. there's still the issue of the man who died and the influence he seemed to have. Someone pushed hard to make sure Cooper faced serious charges, and that kind of pressure doesn't just disappear overnight. It suggests there are people in the background who might know. Season 2 of Landman wrapped things up in a surprisingly calm and hopeful way. But that calm doesn't feel completely real. It feels like something is hiding beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to explode. And if you've watched shows created by Taylor Sheridan, you already know that peace never lasts for long. In fact, when everything starts looking stable, that's usually when the biggest problems are about to begin. That's exactly why the ending of Season 2 feels a little misleading. Yes, it gave us closure, but it also quietly set up tension that could grow much bigger in Season 3. The characters may think they found a moment to breathe, but in reality, they are stepping into a phase that could challenge everything they've built so far. One of the most important parts moving forward is the situation between Tommy and Cammy. Their conflict didn't just happen suddenly. It has been building slowly, shaped by their different beliefs and decisions. They are looking at the same situation, but from completely different perspectives, and that difference is what makes things so complicated. After Nate revealed that MTEX was never meant to survive without Monty, it feels like a turning point. This truth changes everything. It suggests that no matter how hard Cammy tries, the foundation was never strong enough to last. Deep down, she might start realizing that holding on could do more harm than good. But letting go is never easy, especially for someone like Cammy. She has already lost Monty, and with that loss came a deep emotional impact. On top of that, her trust in the people around her has been shaken. That combination puts her in a very fragile and uncertain position as we move into Season 3. If she finds out about Tommy's new company, and there's a very high chance she will, it could trigger a strong reaction. She might see it as a smart move, or she might take it personally. Emotions will play a big role here, and that's what makes the situation. She could feel abandoned, like Tommy has moved on while she's still fighting for something that meant everything to her. Or even worse, she could feel betrayed, thinking that he gave up too easily. And when emotions like grief and frustration mix together, they can lead to decisions that are not always logical. That's where things could take a dramatic turn. Cammy might act without thinking, possibly trying to interfere with Tommy's new business out of anger or desperation. Actions like that could create even more conflict between them, making their relationship even more strained. At the same time, there is another possibility, one that is calmer but just as powerful. Instead of fighting him, she could choose to reach out for help. Despite everything that has happened, Tommy has always shown that when things truly matter, he doesn't walk away. If Cammy decides to trust him again, even just a little, it could open the door to a completely different outcome. He might help her find a way to deal with MTEX without completely losing everything. That kind of support could change her path in a major way. This situation doesn't just affect their relationship, it also raises bigger questions about Cammy's future. If MTEX is sold or completely shut down, where does that leave her? Her role in the story could become smaller, or it could shift in a new direction that we haven't seen before. And that's what makes her character so important. She brings a balance of emotion and intelligence, someone who can be vulnerable but still make strong business decisions. Watching how she rebuilds herself after everything she's lost could become one of the most powerful parts of Season 3. Meanwhile, Tommy's path seems much clearer, at least on the surface, and that's what makes it so interesting. After everything he went through in Season 2, it feels like he has finally found direction again. By the end of the season, he had already started putting his plan into motion, not in a rushed way, but with careful thinking and quiet confidence. Starting a new company wasn't just a backup plan for him. It wasn't something he came up with at the last minute. It was a move he had been thinking about for a long time, slowly preparing for the right moment to act. That makes his decision feel more powerful, because it shows that even when things were falling apart, he was still planning ahead. His meeting with Galliano made that even more clear. It showed that Tommy still understands how to operate in high-pressure situations. He knows how to talk, how to negotiate, and how to position himself in a way that gets results. Even after being pushed out, he didn't lose his edge. In fact, he might be even more focused now than before. The fact that he was able to secure major funding says a lot about his reputation. People still believe in him. They trust his judgment, his experience, and his ability to lead something successful. That kind of confidence doesn't come easily, and it definitely doesn't stay if someone isn't capable. So this move proves that Tommy is far from finished. What makes this new company even more interesting is its structure. It's not just about Tommy trying to rebuild on his own. Instead, it's a team effort built around people he trusts. That changes the dynamic completely, because now success depends on how well they all work together. Cooper stepping in as president is a bold and unexpected choice. Considering everything he went through, it shows a lot of trust from Tommy. It also puts Cooper in a position where he has to prove himself in a completely new way. This role could either push him to grow stronger or create pressure that becomes. Season 2 of Landman wrapped things up in a surprisingly calm and hopeful way. But that calm doesn't feel completely real. It feels like something is hiding beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to explode. And if you've watched shows created by Taylor Sheridan, you already know that peace never lasts for long. In fact, when everything starts looking stable, that's usually when the biggest problems are about to begin. That's exactly why the ending of Season 2 feels a little misleading. Yes, it gave us closure, but it also quietly set up tension that could grow much bigger in Season 3. The characters may think they found a moment to breathe, but in reality, they are stepping into a phase that could challenge everything they've built so far. One of the most important parts moving forward is the situation between Tommy and Cammy. Their conflict didn't just happen suddenly. It has been building slowly, shaped by their different beliefs and decisions. They are looking at the same situation, but from completely different perspectives. And that difference is what makes things so complicated. After Nate revealed that M-Tex was never meant to survive without Monty, it feels like a turning point. This truth changes everything. It suggests that no matter how hard Cammy tries, the foundation was never strong enough to last. Deep down, she might start realizing that holding on could do more harm than good. But letting go is never easy, especially for someone like Cammy. She has already lost Monty, and with that loss came a deep emotional impact. On top of that, her trust in the people around her has been shaken. That combination puts her in a very fragile and uncertain position as we